Everyone, Deadpool Negative here. Just want to follow up on my Star Trek versus the Pit video. I realized I had kind of missed a step in one of the things I wanted to say. And I wanted to say something about the latest episode of Starfleet Academy, which aired today. The point I wanted to make about in the opening scene of Starfleet Academy, we see Nala Ake having to send Caleb's mother to work camp, and promises he will get to see her and she will be cared of. And somehow the 6-year-old kid escapes and survives on his own for 15 years. And this is why screenwriting. I think one of the problems with Starfleet Academy is that the writers assume that people would that the audience they're trying to get here is quote unquote the man. I mean, um, Jesse Gender is saying, well, um, I don't like military organizations at all. Then why are you watching Star Trek? I don't know. Um, and they're trying to make the characters likable and permissible and relatable, which is why Nala Ake, instead of using the Yori source of Starfleet to quit to locate Caleb, she just quits Starfleet and goes looking on her own. But by the time we meet her, she's just teaching kids on Bajor. So I don't know what's going on there. Like I think the idea is like, okay, we're supposed to like her because she quit Starfleet out of shame. I mean, I guess, like she didn't want to be the man. I guess. Like it looked like she, and then Vance tells her he's located it. So if she stayed in Starfleet, she would have found Caleb. But the writers think the viewers don't want to see that. That there are the majority of the viewers they are trying to reach, I suppose, would not be excited to go to school, would not be excited to be part of something. And that's a problem because I think they're grossly underestimating or misunderstanding what today's audience wants. I'm not saying I know, but I'm not saying they know either. Because, Caleb, when he gets to school, is a miserable jerk. And he doesn't care about anything. And there's no aspirational quality to Starfleet Academy. It's all just kind of mush in these 2 episodes. When we get to the 3rd episode, to the show's credit, they just kind of ignore the missing mother plot line and Caleb's need to get her, and just focus on Caleb's relationships with the other characters, particularly Zoe Steiner's Narman. I want to say Narman Adal, but that's not the character's name. I think they do a very good job of, like, one of the problems with the show is like once Caleb finds his mother, then there's no show. But first, for one thing, Caleb is actually kind of the third. Caleb and Naram are the second leads in the episode. It's really about Darum and Genesis Live and how their leadership contrasts, which isn't as exciting and is kind of dopey at points, but at least it's something, and at least they're acknowledging that, like, there are people at Starfleet Academy who want to be part of Starfleet because they want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And it's not just doing it for ego, I mean, or doing it for, their parents. I mean, Genesis Alive seems to really enjoy or respect Starfleet. Darum seems to be doing it for his ego, but that's looks like his whole family's like that. But now Caleb has someone he cares about who's at this academy, and I think what they're doing is the Beta Z character, whose name I can't remember correctly, is interesting. But the show's still really flawed in that, for one thing, although it's not really properly explained, when the burn happened, Earth left Starfleet and became isolationists. Now, why this means Starfleet Academy has to be rebuilt and reopened in San Francisco, I don't know. But So there was a war college in the remnants of what Starfleet was. They show it being rebuilt in the credits. They built this massive, unwieldy set for this show, and which is obviously driving the cost, making the cost skyrocket. So there's the War College and there's Starfleet Academy. And one of the weird jokes is that Nura Thok was part of the War College, so she's driving the students like a drill sergeant. Now, once again, Gina Gershara is great as Nura Thok, and she's having a lot of fun in the role. But if she's essentially a drill sergeant to these kids, and Nalahaki, what's the real difference between this and the War College? And they also make a point of showing the War College as a bunch of black-clad snobs, and it's like, is this really slobs versus the snobs, or nerds versus jocks? Because like there are a lot of jocks on this team. Like that's another thing, like all these praise for body types when they show both the War College and the Starfleet Academy going through rigorous physical training. So why are all these fat people around? Why is there an XCOM around? I'm still confused about that. And why does it still sound like Heather Donahue? And it just like it's a prank war. And that's kind of funny, but it's also like the show is casting the War College as the villains, and I don't think a lot of people would see it that way, especially given this is still a highly fluctual power vacuum environment. The actor they have playing Kelrick, the War College, of course he's written as a stuffed shirt, and they have this really uncomfortable close-up on his face, emphasizing his nose, which I'm sure in 2024 that looked okay, but in 2026 it doesn't. But the actor gives the guy dignity, and when he explains that he's here to teach them, and like now it's like they're kids, they've already been through a rough life because of the burn. I'm like, what is the problem here? Like there are two different schools of thought, two different types of. Why should they be in conflict? Question: why should they be even in the same building? That's what's confusing about it. I'm like, okay, like the War College was created to protect Earth. It just feels very strange. Like, again, it's like they think we need something, the audience wants us to have the characters something to rebel against. When maybe the audience wants to see people work together. Like maybe find common ground with the War College. I just don't get it. I don't get the idea. Like, and there's this line from, they're supposed to fight wars. You're supposed to end them. Says to Caleb, like, why can't it be both? Why are these separate places if they're on the same campus? There seems to be a really fundamental flaw in the writer's thinking here that I just can't get past. That they think we need this conflict to, like, these characters go through competitions, and it didn't have to be about a prank war. It could have just been competitions, because the basic point is that Darum and Lai aren't 100% ready to be leaders yet, and that's communicated fine, if kind of boringly. But I just don't understand where this is supposed to go or what point it's trying to make. Because a lot of Americans are kind of fine with paramilitary strike forces wandering their streets. I mean, I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying it's a fact. Anyway, that's just my thoughts about that, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Oh, and one more thing. Last video I said, why is Jet Reno here? Well, they explain it, and I did not see that coming, and that is extremely strange. But, okay, it gives Jet Reno something to do other than just, bark orders. It's going to be interesting how this plays out. I'm not spoiling it because you got to see it for yourself. Thanks.